Can I make a difference when the world seems to be falling apart? We have all witnessed one's worst nightmares, seeing the dehumanization of humans. This in the 21st century, in the year 2023. So the question is asked, what can you and I do about it? Can we actually do something to make a difference? And to that, I want to share with you a resounding yes. The Maimonides, the great rabbi, philosopher, doctor, wrote very clearly that every person should consider themselves as they are on a scale, a balance scale, with the whole world. So when you have a balance scale, you know any fraction will tilt the scale. When it's equal, it doesn't take much to tilt the scale in the right way. And Maimonides suggested that everyone should always consider themselves that they are on that scale with the whole world. One action can be that fraction weight that will tilt the scale. And it takes it even another level. One thought, one positive thought could be that fraction that's going to tilt the scale in favor. He goes on to say, when crisis befalls a community, the world, one needs to do some introspection. One needs to check house. One needs to look into themselves, into the community, and see what needs to be repaired, what needs to be fixed up. It is times of crisis like this that we realize our own mortality is so fragile. I know that personally, up close and personal. When I survived the mass shooting at my synagogue, when the mass shooter came in on Saturday morning, April 27, 2019, shot and killed Mrs. Lori Lynn Kay, who was standing right next to me, shot 4 bullets at me and the children that were behind me, blowing out my fingers, but I survived it. Realizing that this was a tragedy that I could have never ever imagined befalling upon our synagogue and our community. After all said and done, everything that happens in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, is for us who survive to take stock and to reconcile what just happened and to realize the fragility of life. As a Jewish person, I always knew that I'm walking around with a target on my head. I knew that from the day I moved from Brooklyn and I came here to Southern California, to the city, Poway. Every time I walk in the street, when I walk around, I know that everyone knows who I am. And I do have a target on my head. And I realize what kind of miracle it is every day to survive another day. But when something like this happens, the Maimonides says, it's important for us to use this as sort of a wake-up call. And saying, gosh, we're living in very difficult times. This is not the world we want. This is not the world we're working so hard to perfect. We need better times. And God has told us there is going to be a time when the world will be perfected. And that's where God promised us the coming of the Messiah, the revelation of the Messiah. Until He comes, we are suffering as we are suffering. But what can we do to help usher in the Messianic times, where the prophecy says there'll no longer be any more war, hatred, jealousy. The wolf and the lamb will be together. The answer to that is, the very first thing we need to increase in unconditional love. We all as human beings have had situations, conflict, disappointments, letdowns with others. There are others that we have totally canceled, as they say in our generation. We broke up friendships. Families have broken up. We've been holding grudges. We've been judging others. In times like this, we need to bury the hatchet. We need to do something extraordinary. Pick up the phone. Reach out to your friend that you canceled or ghosted, as they say. Reconcile. That's one action that you can do. God will look down from heaven and seeing his children reaching out with an olive branch of love, reconciling differences, even if you were wronged, even if you were justified. But now's the time to show unity. Stronger together. Us human beings need to embrace each other. Those of us who are on the right side of humanity, those of us who are on the right side of life, who want everything about life, let's embrace each other. Let's forgive each other. Let's go the extraordinary sense, as awkward as it may be. Your friend that you have distanced from for so long, reach out, reconnect. The relative that you have walked away from, re-embrace. This is the time to do that. Be kind, be generous with your love. We need that now more than ever. When there is unconditional hate, as we have just witnessed, we need to conquer that with unconditional love. And yes, you can do that. It may be hard for our ego. It may be hard for our evil inclination, who's going to try everything possible to dissuade you from breaking out of that anger, from breaking out of that resentment and reaching out to your dear friend who you used to be friendly with, or your relative. Now is the time to do that. Let's break the mold. Let's break out of the melancholy, sadness, and show God how we can do the extraordinary, and then God will do the extraordinary to us as well. Giving charity hastens the redemption. Be charitable, be generous. Right now, there's so many out there that need our means to be able to help them through these difficult times. Let's be generous, let's be kind, and do whatever we can, even way above of what we can, because to that, God will replenish and reward you for your kindness and your generosity. At times like this, we connect. We take those that were divided and we become reunited. We must be together. We are always stronger when we are together. It was very similar once when there was a family that was so splintered. And the rabbi was trying to explain to them how important it is to be united. And the rabbi instructed the young lad to go outside and to bring in a whole bunch of twigs. And he gave the child a twig and he says, "Can you crack it?" He says, "Sure." And he took the twig and cracked it easily. Then the rabbi took 20 twigs, put it together. He says, "Now try to break it." And he couldn't. And that's what the rabbi said. Stronger together. When we are united as one, then nothing can break us and nothing will break us. Do not underestimate your own personal act of goodness and kindness. Your advances in your spiritual journey. Your advancements in performance of commandments. Such as if you are a Jewish boy and of 13 years old and older, then you want to wrap the tefillin that you got at your bar mitzvah. For a girl, you want to light the Shabbat candles. You want to attend a synagogue, lift up a prayer book. These are all acts that you can do that will make a tremendous impact on the world. Think of that balance scale. You take out that tefillin, the prayer shawl, you put that on today, any weekday, that can tilt the scale in a favor and bring redemption for us all. Do not underestimate what you will do can affect and will affect the whole world. God bless you. God loves you. May God protect our brothers and sisters in Israel, and may God help us return the hostages back home very soon.